with that accident in October of 1986, before that happened, did you know like you were headed for the main event of Starcade? Like, were you told like where you were going to be if that hadn't happened? Like, what the future kind of held for you, or the immediate future? I should say?
The title had been, had totally been decided that I was going to get a run with the title. I mean, getting a run with the title and what you do with it when you get that run, we can guess about it till the cows come home. But I mean, I really felt that I was ready for the opportunity. And it was a little different than, say, Rick. When Rick first got his opportunity for the world title, he was having to travel to New Zealand and Japan and, all over the world, defending the title against everybody and their brother because there was all these territories and all these parts of the NWA. When I was being groomed to step in that role, there was really only two players in the world, and one was Jim Crockett, the other was Vince McMahon. So although I would have still had the responsibilities of that title, it would have been controlled much more strategically where I went and who I wrestled against and who I was representing, uh, to the world, my capabilities by the Crockett's because the territories had ceased to be a power in, in what was going on as everything transitioned.
So, did they tell you like when though? Was it definitely going to be Starcade
No,
'86?
they didn't say when, and the thing is the way Dusty and I was with Dusty every day, and saw his creative vision and the way things are happening, and everybody thinks, oh, it would have been Starcade, '86, and we could have done it in a house show. I mean, it was see the mega show pay-per-view thing hadn't blown to the ceiling. Flair and I might had a rematch in the Starcade where I would have defended it back against him, and we might have just rolled on TBS, one Saturday morning with me having unbuttoning my vest, and there it would be, and if you weren't in the arena, you wouldn't have seen it because it was still that kind of mentality back there that we controlled our own destiny and we didn't have to, you know we would control how the people perceived it and then change the narrative after the fact. But I don't know that it would have been the pay-per-view. It could have been it could have been before it or after it.
To me, I'm always curious, like how it gets decided you're going to be champ. I mean, obviously you were super over. You look like $1 million. U.S. title. Then it should be the next phase would be the world title. But does that get decided by Dusty? Is it Jim Crockett Jr.? Is it Flair saying that he's going to like? How does that all get decided? Like that you're going to be the next champ or you're the next guy?
Then at that time the alliance was still in place. Okay, it was still a group of people that vote on it, and so I had gone to we'd had the NWA big meeting in Vegas that year, and they had me come speak at it and kind of you know getting folks approval and whatnot. And I think that was in the summer of '86, and I believe the Crockett's and Dusty flew me up to New York and took me out in New York and told me the decision had been made and what we were going to do. And again, we didn't talk about the where or the when. They had a different concept of the business, and it's comical to say now because obviously we can see what Rick's gone on to do, but they didn't want a 37-year-old champion. They wanted a 20-some-year-old champion, and they wanted that to be the marquee, the one that carried the load for the business as far as representing the Crockett promotion. That's what they wanted. They wanted that youth movement. They recognized Rick's undeniable talent in his abilities, but they were already looking at him as like a quote unquote like a Jack Nicholas type, you know, uh, character and being the golden bear. They one of them called him, in always being in the mix and all those things. But as we all can tell today, as Rick has wrestled, through 5 decades. Nothing would have stopped him if they had done that, and he and things had gone well. And that would have been the question, because at the time I was a babyface, and there would have been no plan to turn me heel. And aside from Hogan being champion, it's not historical for a babyface to carry the title for long periods of time. So I was, if you noticed, I was kind of a heel babyface kind of character anyway, in that, I knocked out the president of the NWA because he, irritated me over a comment about my mom.
Yep.
And I was fringing on that, what became the Attitude Era. So I would have probably, been a more aloof type character, that I would have only had alliance with Dusty and nobody else, and I probably could have worked with different people as a result of that, and not quote unquote ever been a heel, but edgy enough that I could have gone out there and had a match with Ricky Morton or somebody like that, and had a something that stirred everybody's excitement up, and say, "Ooh, that's different," and wouldn't have had to gone and nut shotted somebody or done something like that, but just the attitude of it could have carried that flavor.